Mcfarland. Wow. I've got Patrick. I'm excited to have Patrick with me.
What's up, sir? How are you doing?
I never know if people can hear us or not, or when this thing actually starts, but let's assume it started. I am with Patrick Thomas Parnell, not Patrick Lewis Parnell or Patrick Sarah Parnell. I'm with Patrick Thomas Parnell. We recently, this is a big announcement about me and Patrick. I want you guys to all get that. We've become friends on Facebook. And we wanted to let the world know. And I don't think we want to be judged for that, do we?
No. I mean, just friends making friends.
Friends on Facebook, baby. Friends on Facebook. Hey, VileNed. You see me thanking VileNed. About half of my tweets are thanks, VileNed. Because VileNed is fantastic, does the retweets. I'm starting to get my channel is bipping and bopping and growing along a little bit. Had an Amber Heard video I did that got a little bit of zing-zang on it, a little bit of action. Yeah, a little bit of action. And, the topic was, is she too crazy? Like too crazy, because her role is being reduced in Aquaman 2, it looks like. Because obvious reasons as well it should. Just a kid from Brooklyn. How are you doing? Good to see you too. Great to see Raging Mantis. Hail COMICSGATE to Raging Mantis. I don't recognize the name Raging Mantis. Itchy 5. What's up? What is up? Total excellence. Total excellence we like. That is our standard. That's if true. You've ever seen Patrick's artwork before. Guys, so I haven't been around COMICSGATE as much as I would like to be. I try to make sure I get into Twitter at least a couple times a day. And part of it is the whole pandemic thing actually interrupted my flow, my game a little bit in terms of my day business. And I do have a son who actually was supposed to finish school last year, but he finished it a little early. So he's kind of like with me 24/7. So it's not a complaint. It's not a problem kind of thing. It's just a super duper hectic kind of thing. But my project Mermaids is coming along really well. It's almost done, but I'm kind of a freak for having everything done and finished and in place. And we're going to have the graphics for the campaign almost done and together. So I'll start talking about that more. I'll be on streams more. Whoever wants a little bit of this action will get it. And Patrick is one of the guys who I connected with. There's Patrick, Dan Frega, much love for Frega. Every time you say Frega, you got to say like much love. Jama. I mean, he's there's something special about that Frega guy. And also Shane Davis, one of the new people, and Charlie's London, one of the new people. And Wenger always, of course, much love there. But so much energy in COMICSGATE, so much going on in COMICSGATE. And I didn't get a chance yet to talk with Patrick about Johnny Phantasm. And also, Patrick has done a good amount of comics work before this. Patrick, you're also a musician, right?
Yeah, like before comics, I really was like a professional musician. I played in a lot of bands and I played a lot of gigs and stuff like that. Recorded a lot, toured a lot.
What did you play? Are you like vocal or?
I played bass professionally.
Oh, bass is hard, right?
Well,
that's what they tell me.
I mean, it all depends, Like one might think it's simpler because there's only 4 strings, opposed to 6, like a guitar player. But it's a different beast than guitar playing. It's like you have to play along with like the drummer and the kick drum, and you kind of have to stick with the drummer. That's why it's like whenever bass players are in bands, like usually they have a pretty tight connection like with each other. So yeah,
just like a kid from Brooklyn says, you have to have soul to play it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but something that I learned, like you can actually learn soul. Like it's like if you practice enough, and you kind of just I mean, it's like everything else, you
eventually become second. When it becomes second nature, then that's when the soul comes.
Yeah, and it definitely happens. It definitely happens.
Cool, very cool. This is your second Johnny Phantasm book. Your first one was in 77.
Yep.
So it was set in 1977. This one's set in 1985, which I like because to me it's kind of always the 80s. I was a teenager in the 80s. I really fell in love with comics in the 80s. I published my first comic, I think, in 1986.
Oh, okay.
Yep, G.I. Jackrabbits. So
I got that. I own that.
oh, do you? That's so cool. All right, we have to talk more GI Jackrabbits. Yeah, Frega's gonna do a cover for it. Maybe I can get you to do a cover. You've done TMNT work, right?
Yeah, I've done some Ninja Turtle stuff. Actually, on the last auction that we had over on Ethan's, I actually auctioned the cover off.
Oh yeah. Oh really? On the auction night?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was on vacation at the time, so I wasn't able to do Friday and Saturday. So I just did Friday, and my Turtles covers was one of the things I put up.
Oh, how cool!
Yeah, yeah, and I was excited because I mean, being an artist, I have so much art just sitting around, and I would rather someone have that and enjoy that and hang it up. So
yeah, it does become like to you, it's just kind of like, well, all right, yeah, it's amazing, but I have a lot of amazing.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it might mean something different.
Or I don't say that out loud, but I do go. There's a lot of shit in here. I need to thin it out.
Yeah, well, but there's like a whole George Carlin skit about that. Of like your stuff is, or someone else's stuff is shit, and your stuff is your stuff, or whatever the heck it is. Some kind of mix up of those two things. Yeah. So, how much Ninja Turtles have you done for Did you do for IDW?
Well, it's interesting. So, I was actually hired to do 4 covers.
But
so
just covers.
Just covers.
So why did they want you as a cover pimp? Did you have like can your name sell books on the cover?
Well, so shortly before that, I was doing covers for Archie Comics. And I was doing like covers for like Sonic the Hedgehog and Mega Man. And I also did some covers for a couple of their black circle or red circle properties, like the Shield and the Fox.
Yeah.
So they saw some of the work that I did over them. Again, just doing covers. All right. And they hired me solely on just seeing some of the Sonic stuff I did, some of the Mega Man stuff I did. And like Chris Royale was the guy who kind of reached out to me. I'm sure you Chris Royale.
Yeah, he was like off and on the publisher, editor in chief, or whatnot.
Yeah, he was like the big cheese over there. But I actually knew him from back in the day. Like he gave me, like, when I graduated from the Kubert school, he gave me a couple of my first gigs doing pinups for 30 days a night. That was in about 2004 that I was doing work with Chris Royale and IDW, and that was right when he just started. So I always stayed friends with him, and I always kind of stayed connected with him. And then after I did the Mega Man, the Sonic stuff, either I reached out to him or he reached out to me, and like he wanted me to do something Ninja Turtles, and he thought that I would work well with the animated series.
Now, excuse me for kind of beating on this, but I'm not Jeffrey Toobin over here, but going back to the subject is what I meant to say. But why are you only doing covers for people? Like, did you have because like a lot of times back in the day, even when it's an excellent artist, like we would hire guys for a cover who, if they were doing just the cover, like Kelly Jones did a cover for us, and his name sold books. Boom. Yeah, that was it. But did you have a name? Because I wasn't. There's a few years I was out of comics altogether. Did you have a name that would sell, or it was just like, we think you're a great artist, we want you to do the cover?
I think it was just that. I think because like I come from more of an illustration background opposed to straight up comic books. So I mean, like I was, when you're doing covers, and this is probably why some people don't jump on covers right away. But there's certain compositional rules that you kind of have to learn, Yeah. And before comic books, I worked for
different than straight storytelling.
Yes.
You're accomplishing something different with a cover.
Yeah. You have to think about what's on top, what's in the middle, what's on the bottom, where copy goes, all that stuff. But like I had a strong illustration background, like before doing comic books. Like I worked for the New York Times, I worked for the Wizards of the Coast.
Wow.
I did a lot of like illustration work, like not just comic books. Now when it comes down to comic books, like this is what's funny about comics is comics probably pays the least, but it's the hardest to do.
Yeah, right. In every which way, in every possible way.
Yeah. So it's like when
you have to really want to do comics.
Yeah, you have to love to do it. Exactly. But some of these editors saw me and they disliked me as an illustrator. You know, they saw some of the stuff I did for Wizards of the Coast or New York Times, or I also did a couple of indie comics back in the day that I would schlep around at conventions. And people disliked them, you know, like they were really into them. So that's kind of how I got my foot in the door with doing covers right away. And you know, I'm also a full color guy. So you know, they see me being able to do the whole thing, just one stop and shop.
So yeah, you're going from a blank cover through the concept. You'll show the editor the concept, but the concept is just going to be good because you understand how to do it properly. So all the composition, like they could just give it to you, it's going to get done. It's going to look great.
Yeah, I think they just had confidence in me, you know, just with my background. Being an illustrator and also, you know, being a professional college instructor as well. Like they know that I'm.
Oh yeah.
So I think they just had a little faith in me.
It's very
cool.
So
it's kind of strange because, again, like I was working for New York Times and Wizards of the Coast. This is around 2000, like 2002 through maybe 2008. You know, I actually wasn't doing any type of comic book work. I was going to conventions and doing sketches and selling prints, but I was working on like other type of illustration stuff.
Sure.
And it wasn't until around 2010, 2011 that I started to try to get into comics, like you know, contacting editors and showing them my portfolio and trying to
work with the companies.
So that's when again like I reconnected with Chris Royale, and you know, he wanted to hire me, but he kind of pushed me off into someone else, like because he was such a big guy over there. He didn't deal with turtles.
Yeah, he wasn't hiring new people. Yeah.
And then also same thing with Archie. Like I was working with these editors, that were just very young and very experienced. They didn't really know a whole lot about art. Like or composition or, you know, like pretty much anything. Like I was really surprised at just like how just unqualified they were.
It is kind of odd, like as the regimes of strong editorial people left in the 1980s, it's like they were never replaced at any of the companies. Maybe I can't speak to Dark Horse, but definitely like Marvel, DC still kind of held on for a while. But like as the 80s went into the 90s, strong editorial, you know, it was like that would protect the franchise. You could protect the franchise. Was this is who Spider-Man is, this is who Spider-Man does, these are the kind of stories you can tell. You got to remember that we have brand equity in the character, like Shooter would talk about that. And they would restrict. There was stories you could not tell because that would put the characters in a bad position. But that just kind of went all out the window after like Shooter's regime left Marvel. And then it was sort of like, well, anything kind of goes, whatever seems like it'll sell some books.
It's weird. Like when I was trying to get involved in comics, there was kind of a changing of the guard. And it was like the senior editors weren't the ones that I would be in touch with, you know.
And that was the 2010s?
Around 2010 through let's say 2016. Yeah. You know, like I wasn't able to get in touch with like Matt Idelson over at DC Comics anymore. Like I had to go through all these like mini bosses, like to get to the people that knew what art looked like, you know? Yeah. Because, you know, I had a lot of people looking at my stuff, and, you know, I understand my style was a little bit more designy and unusual, but they would look at it and they wouldn't be able to they didn't understand what I was saying, you know? So anyway, so I had to deal with like a lot of these mini bosses, but, you know, when I did land a couple of gigs, like for example, the Turtles gig, I was hired to do 4 covers, and I was working with this dude. I'll say his name. I don't care. His name is Bobby Conroy, and he's a complete idiot. But I like out of the Turtles cover I think I did about 16 different variations of it, right?
Wow.
And I have to send now when
you have 16 different like thumbnail layouts?
No, like just like tweaking things, like tweak this, tweak that, you know, like okay. 16 different versions, you know. Well, so
knowing IDW, they might actually put them all out. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, that's basically kind of what they did. So, like when Chris gave me to this editor. When we were all CC'd in a conversation, this guy was very friendly to me. He was very nice, you know.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as he and I started talking one-on-one, and Chris was not in the conversation, the guy was like a total like asshole, and it was clear that he didn't want to work with me. So anyway, it was a challenge because I would have to send stuff to him, and then he would have to send to Nickelodeon, and then Nickelodeon would tell him things to tell me. So, and it would take.
How did you find that? But sorry to interrupt. How did you find Nickelodeon, like in terms of licensing approval? Did you find them to be jerky, or did you find them to be easy to like generally, or do you not maybe have a sense because maybe your guy, contact Ben wasn't like competent?
So no, they were very competent. Like when I would get notes from them, I understood exactly what they were saying. It was that like I would send my guy, Bobby, mm-hmm. The work he was into them, and it would take him about a month to get back to me. It was just like an insane amount of time. So to do one cover, it took me about a month and a half to kind of get through it because the back and forth was so long, and then so at the end of the day, out of the 16 versions of the cover that I did, he sent the first one to print by accident. Oh. And there was mistakes in the first one. Like if you ever see it, it's like the angle that Raphael is in. I'm trying to put, like, where's my hand at? Over here. You couldn't see his side, like the way he holds his side. You see it over his wrist. I forgot to draw it in the first one, but I fixed it. And there was a lot of like things that Nickelodeon had me fix with their faces.
Okay.
And he sent the first one by accident. And here's the thing: he didn't even send in a PST. He sent a JPEG to print. And then on top of that, Adam, it was in the stores before I knew about it, and they hadn't paid me for it. And so it's like when I saw it, dude, I fucking flipped out on him. I was just like, what the? I'm like, you're an editor. Like, your one job is to make sure it's okay before it goes to print. That's your one fucking job. Like, how did you send a JPEG to print? Like, how did you not pick that up? How did you not notice that this was, because he was kind of being like Nickelodeon was cool, but he was being kind of a dick to me about making the corrections that Nickelodeon wanted me to make. But at the end of the day, he fucked it up.
Well, it's a whole other level to manage licensed property.
I mean,
I don't know why though that they would let him do that if he doesn't really know what he's doing.
Well, and this is the character. Again, like I was supposed to do 3 more covers after this, right?
Yeah.
I whatever, I blow up on him, and I hit him up later. I'm like, so what's going on with like this second the cover? Like, do you want to do one of other thumbnails? And he's like, oh, Nickelodeon wasn't really happy like the way that the cover turned out. So
okay.
And so what he did basically at the end was he just basically threw me under the bus.
Right, put it on you.
And then I was just like, dude, I was like, is this like mainstream comics? Is that what this is? Like, is this what it's like?
It's a rough game, and IDW is a bit of a wacky company, and that is not the way to do it.
It's interesting because a lot of people got canned from that position from IDW, and he wasn't one of them. His whole thing is he wants to be an editor so he can write Ninja Turtles, because now I see his name as like one of the writers on Ninja Turtles. He's just one of those guys that just kind of weaseled his way in there. He's not creative. He's an idiot.
You know why I asked you about the Ninja Turtles? I'll be like 100% upfront with you. Mm-hmm. I know a guy who's a toy designer who he does some work with a company that has the rights to Ninja Turtles toys, and apparently some publishing. And it supposedly includes comics based on the original cartoon, based on the cartoon, not the original comics, but like the Archie era of them, sort of. So that theoretically it would be possible under their license to do Ninja Turtle comics from that era, that version of the Turtles.
That's very interesting. I actually like the Archie era of Ninja Turtle comics.
All right, so maybe let's talk about that a little bit offline, a little bit, and we can kind of see if we can maybe hook it up.
Because, well, yeah, like I mean, I did a lot of thumbnails for them.
Could you fucking imagine if we could bring that to CG?
Yeah.
Like the Archie Ninja Turtle, like the Ninja Turtles, but like of that era, because that's what we would have, and throw G.I. Jackrabbits in there. I mean, it's of the same time. G.I. Jackrabbits was in the Ninja Turtles boom. It was what Ninja Turtles is 82 or it was like 83 or 4 or whatever. G.I. Jacobs was 86 because the black and white boom lasted, I think, about 3 years. So we were kind of in that
the black and white
world.
Boom.
Well, that's what they called it, the black and white independent boom.
That's
like
funny.
anything black and white would come out and be like, it would outsell like color even sometimes because it was just like everyone thought it was gonna be like Ninja Turtles worth like $1 million. And some things were like big deals back then, but not everything. And Ninja Turtles did okay, but did only one issue.
So that was one of my experiences working with mainstream comics.
So you worked with IDW, you worked with Archie. Did you get into any other companies? Did you do any DC or anything like that?
Well, so like my DC story kind of starts at Archie. I did some work for Archie, and I befriended an editor there. And I did a couple things for him. I think he was the editor in chief, actually.
Luis, it's what I'm talking about is super speculative, man. I got to tell you, he and I have talked a little bit. Me and this toy guy, and I would say it's about a 1 in 50 chance. So I wouldn't bank on it, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I'm going to talk to him some more.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
It's this whole bizarre thing going on with it, but weird things happen. Weird things.
Yeah, happen. It's weird because like with properties like that, like it can end up all over the place.
You know what? Like, even back in the day when things were less sophisticated in licensing, there was licensing based on when Terminator 2 came out, like in the theaters. I know this is going back like 50 years, like whatever, 25 years ago. Terminator 2 came out. Marvel Comics had the license. Terminator, the original series, was through Dark Horse. So it was Dark Horse's Terminator comic versus Marvel's Terminator 2 comic, and the Terminator 2 comic was actually in the theaters.
Yeah.
I know who you meant, Luis. The Clint man. So we were all like, kind of like, well, who is going to sell more copies? This is like 93 or something like that, 1993. And Dark Horse outsold them. So it's and no one really realized that, no one thought Dark Horse would outsell them, but Dark Horse did outsell them. They beat Marvel, and they did it because it was just fucking cooler.
Yeah, it was good.
It was just cooler. It was done better. So it sold more copies. So indies can win. COMICSGATE can win. The books just have to be cooler. I don't know.
It wouldn't be hard to do a really good Ninja Turtle book
from the era of the 80s.
Just in general.
The first cartoon era of the 80s, Cowabunga. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I mean you can make a killer. Like there'd be so.
Well, right now the I just read the Eastman Laird it was an old unpublished story of Ninja Turtles. That's become a huge seller. Like the last Ronin, sorry, I don't know the exact title, whatever it is. That current title is a big seller. It did huge, like 100,000 or whatever.
I mean, like right now, there's a whole new line of animated style action figures made by multiple companies. So it's like the nostalgia is there. Like people would buy it up for sure.
Well, through CG, we could sell the bejesus out of it.
Oh yeah,
absolute bejesus. But it's tenuous. But the guy I know is good people. I've known him for years. He's a straight up guy, and he explained the situation. And it's a small toy company that got like a licensing deal to do toys, and they've been working on some toys, but they also have publishing, as part of it. But we'll see. So you did you? We were talking a little bit about DC. Did you wind up working stuff?
So what happened was I was working with this editor over at Archie, and he ended up going to DC. And he wrote me an email and was like, "Hey, like I'm not working at Archie anymore. It was nice working with you, but I would like you to come over here and do some stuff with me." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And this is actually kind of a funny story. Like, remember that slime ball, Eric Escalante, or whatever his name is?
Oh, yeah, Escalante. Yeah.
They were trying to pair me up with him at Archie at the same time to work on some type of Sonic project. So I was in communication with him a lot. And this guy was trying to bring him over to DC, like us as a pair.
Okay.
And so when he went over to DC, I did all my paperwork, I gave them all my tax information, all my direct deposit information,
Oh, wow.
like I did all
We're
my
seriously
paperwork.
hiring you.
Yeah. And they did the same thing with Eric too. And this is and they were gonna, like, I was doing variant, well, the thumbnails that I were doing were hypothetical variants for Action Comics. I did about 20 of them covers.
Oh.
And so I was doing a bunch of stuff for them. And this was around early October of 2016, and you might know where this is going.
Okay.
I was unaware of the climate that we were in politically, you know?
Yeah.
I was friends with this editor on Facebook, and I made a post that was like, hey, you know, like, I'm a Democrat, but I'm voting for Trump this time.
Okay.
I never heard from the guy again.
Yeah, that's the end.
He blocked me. I
really
emailed him. He never wrote me back. You know, I've talked to colleagues of his, and they're like, yeah, like, I don't know what his deal is. Meanwhile, I want people to put this in perspective. He still worked with Eric. He still did work. He still did jobs with Eric, and we all know how Eric turned out. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
so I mean, talking about judge of character, right?
Yeah, Eric was fired out of DC for accusations of some really naughty stuff.
Yeah, for like
some like sexual harassment-y stuff, and
like very rapey.
Yeah,
but it just shows you, you know, like their kind of demeanor. It's like they don't want to work with me because I'm a Trump supporter, a Democrat Trump supporter, mind you. But they'll work with this guy who's a little creep. You know what I'm saying?
It's the best kind of Trump supporter.
I know people.
Hey,
it really gets people pissed off.
Yeah, it does. It really upsets them.
So that was my history with DC. Now, at this time, when all this was happening, this is when I discovered John Malin. Because something similar happened to him, and I read about it online, and I was like, oh shit. So I actually reached out to him on Facebook.
Cool.
And then a couple months later, I started listening to this guy on YouTube that was kind of ragging on Star Wars stuff, and it turned out to be Uncle E. You know,
Skyver.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was him. You know, I sat next to or close to Ethan a couple times at conventions, and I talked to him, and he was always nice.
Yeah,
but I was watching his Star Wars
person, like that convention persona is different. I've never at a convention, but I've seen him like do interviews and talk to people, and he's so, you know, quietly stated and stuff like that. He's not a performer at conventions, or hadn't been in the past. But it's wonderful that he's come out of his shell, and he's got those crazy outfits and the hats. I love his hats.
Yeah. Shane's going down the same path. He's really come out of his shell.
Shane is having a great time. Yeah, I can't even keep up.
Because I've known Shane for a minute, and you know, this is what I'll say about Shane is he's like the happiest I've ever seen him. You know, like
that's awesome.
At the school, it was always kind of a joke because like he always seemed so depressed.
Yeah. Okay.
Even at conventions, he just seemed like he never smiled. Like, and we'd always kind of joke around that we thought Shane was suicidal.
Oh, Jesus!
I know, but he's really like he's in such a better place now. I'm happy for him.
That's really fantastic. Shane is publishing Starlight Cats.
That's right.
If you guys haven't seen it, I'm going to ask Shane if he wants to be on too on another night and connect with him. I'm interested in finding out more about him and his background and what he's doing. This is This is 101. I mean, we got to know each other. We got to know like what everybody does, and sometimes it's good for connections too. Like, okay, well, I know somebody who does this. Somebody who could do that. Whatever it is, you know. So it's just good. We spend some time talking to each other and get to know what's up.
Yeah, well, I mean, the opposition doesn't do this.
Get on the Shane train. Oh, the opposition. Yeah, well, I don't know. The opposition doesn't even make any sense. It's like, they don't even exist. You know, all it is COMICSGATE is just a bunch of guys they're passionate about their projects. We want to make our comics. We want to interact with our fans or anybody who's interested in our stuff. Anybody who wants to make comics, we want to help them do it too. And we all just kind of get along and try and do our thing. And then people do, like Ethan was suggesting this like early on. He lets people know, like, look, you know, find a group of people that you kind of click with within COMICSGATE too. And then you'll wind up like regularly on each other's channels, promoting each other's stuff and things like that. So not everybody who's in COMICSGATE is all on the same channels. It's just whoever connects with who and wherever the vibe is right, and people go there, and the magic happens because it's entertaining too. It's a matter of having fun. Get on a Shane train, choo choo.
Shane train. I'm scared of the Shane train. If Shane was a conductor of a train, I'd jump off it, even if it was running.
He seems like he's a sensible person. But then again, I've heard about the drunk Shane videos too.
Yeah.
Who is Johnny Phantasm? All right, so Johnny Phantasm, 1977. Like, when did he come? Like, where does he come from? What is he all about? Like, how do I understand who Johnny Phantasm is as a character?
Well, he's a kid that was growing up in Detroit in the the early, like the 60s and the early 70s. And he was orphaned by his father, so he was kind of raised by the state or the church, and he gets involved with gangs at a very early age, and in 1977 he's a hitman. He gets
in 1977 he becomes a hitman.
Yeah. Well, in 1977 he's already a hitman. Like we already see him in full effect. And what happens is he gets sent on a hit to kill a priest. A priest that has gambling issues and little kid issues.
Okay.
And something that we learned about Johnny Phantasm is you don't mess with little kids. That's like his rule. He'll cut your throat and he'll be a vicious motherfucker. But
Johnny Phantasm would kill a priest, but he would definitely kill a priest who's got kid problems.
Well, he's hired because he's the only one that will kill the priest.
Okay.
And he's hired by someone that knows that Johnny does not stand for the kid stuff. So that's why he's hired to take out the priest, because no one else will do it. Because in this town at this time, the priest is kind of like a very high figure in the city. Everyone's kind of scared of him. So he's hired to kill this priest. He shoots the priest, and the priest's dying words, he puts a curse on Johnny, because come to find out, like the priest is actually a Satanist. He's not even a Catholic priest.
Well, there are priests of the dark arts.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and they look normal. They look like regular priests. But so in 1977, he goes from being a hitman to a mob boss. Now, where we pick up in 1985 is he's full on in charge.
Wait, I'm sorry. Johnny Phantasm went from being a hitman to a mob boss in the 70s?
Yes.
Do we see him become a mob boss from a hitman?
We see his rise.
Okay, we do see his rise.
And then when we pick up in 85, he is already in charge of the city. There's a little bit of backstory. You kind of learn how he got there.
Okay.
But in 1985, he's basically like Scarface for like this city, I always say that he's a mix between Scarface and Beetlejuice.
Now he has a skull head.
Mm-hmm.
Is that sometimes or all the time?
That is when his real name is Johnny Don't Care.
Okay.
That's like his like little gang name. But when he gets possessed by a spirit called the Phantasm. And
he's getting possessed because of the curse from that damn priest.
That's right. And at the beginning, he doesn't know how to control it, so he's kind of just wild. And here, in that scene right there, you can actually see that he knows how to kind of turn it off. Mm-hmm. So in this scene right here, he's going to a pumpkin patch that he used to go to as a kid, and he actually turns it off to kind of blend in. Gotcha. But what ends up happening is he ends up kind of like sticking out because he's the only one there not in costume.
Okay, that's clever.
But so in this one, he
doesn't age either, I guess.
No. In the first one, he's about 21. In this one, he's about 30.
Okay, he aged a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then here we see it's like his worst nightmare. He's being attacked by kids, and there's nothing he can do about it because he refuses. He doesn't hurt kids. That's his thing.
Does not hurt kids. Why doesn't he hurt kids?
Well, you got to read it to find out, Adam.
All right. That's fair. That's fair.
Well, and then that gal right there is the kind of antagonist of the story. She's kind of like, this story is not political in any way, okay. But she's loosely kind of based off of a Hillary Clinton AOC type.
I was gonna guess Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
When you're like, it's not political, I'm like, Hillary Clinton.
So
Like, all right, I'll do that next time.
like where we pick up in Johnny Phantasm 1985 is the mayor of 85 or of New Detroit has just died. So there's kind of like there's no one in charge of the city. Like Johnny is like the mob boss of the city, but she is a state's attorney that's coming in and she's trying to take the mayor's spot. And she knows that she has to get rid of Johnny. And you know, she's not very innocent as we come to find out in this story. Like she's actually quite evil. And in the headline, you know, I say, you know, like Johnny is fighting something more evil than himself, because in New Detroit, everyone's bad guys. It's all bad guys against bad guys.
I find it hard to not be evil, at least occasionally myself. I don't know about you. You seem like a really nice guy, but
it seems.
I mean, exactly. It's right. It could be like dead bodies. Like nobody knows what's behind my curtain. You know what I mean? So it's sort of like, you know, we try not to be evil, but there's a little, you know, something in everybody.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So he puts back on his possession, which is sort of his mask.
Mm-hmm. And then just as a side note, as you find out, like the spirit that is the phantasm is actually these 3 demon ghosts from like 100,000 years ago. And so it's like when he's in the phantasm, he's got 3 different people talking to him at the same time. So
that is completely insane.
Yeah. So he goes through some shit with all this, like in his head. I guess there was even a little bit of influence of Fight Club in here as well, as far as just like different personalities.
Yeah, well, Fight Club, you don't really get that until the end, right?
Yeah, you don't get that at the end, and then it all kind of like falls into place.
You'll Be Dead. Is that Christmas related?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it might be.
Yeah, so what we did was like that perk right there, which actually is sold out, but it's like they got 2, or they got a collector glass, a poker chip, and then 2 Christmas cards. Well,
how long did you start? Like, how long was this around in your head before you started working on this, Johnny?
Well, this actually, I think Evan, because Evan who is the co-creator and co-writer of this. Mm-hmm. We were working on something before, and we were just brainstorming one day. I think we came up with the basic idea in just one day, one sitting. You know, he wanted to do a Greek gangster story. He's Greek himself, so he wanted to kind of do something. He's from Detroit. He's a big fan of The Crow. And then my twist on it was making him have the skull and the the undead magical ghost power and so forth. And yeah, I think one day like we kind of like sculpted like the whole this idea of Johnny, and he's like the idea of the city of New Detroit and him. It's real broad, so it's like we can do a lot of different things with him. And you're going to see that, you know, from 1977 to 1985, and then next is going to be 1993, and that's going to be
cool.
Yeah, and
these are all like key times for me.
Oh yeah, it's key times for comics really. You know, a lot of my influence for 1993 is going to be based off of Extreme Studios, so it's going to be the style is going to change too, Adam.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like we're going to see kind of like my version of like Dan Fraga and John Malin, you know.
Oh yeah. You got to Fraga that one up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm definitely going to be showing my roughs to those guys to kind of get their approval art as well. And then we're going to be wrapping it up with Johnny Phantasm 2001 after that. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be an adventure. And you know, it's weird. It's like, it's hard to kind of like what am I trying to say? It's hard to kind of look at some of these people that are making like $200,000, like $1 million, you know, and it's like, you know, it's like you really have to kind of just put your book in perspective and just kind of be like,
you got to do your own thing completely.
Yeah. Well,
you know,
well, I know some people in, you know, professional comic artists that have told me, they're like, well, I'm not going to do an Indiegogo unless I can make $100,000. And I'm like, well,
that's not how exactly. That's not how it works.
Yeah. Like
you get what you earn. Mm-hmm. You know, you get what you earn. You get what you deserve and what you've managed to get people interested in.
Mhm.
And then you still have to manage out your numbers right, and cover your costs and
And be
control
real.
all of it.
And you got to be real about it. Like, and here it says, like, this is our third campaign. So our first campaign with Johnny Phantasm, like we set the goal real low because we were just testing out the crowdfunding thing just to see if we could do it, fulfilling and all that stuff. And then with 1977, we did a little under $15,000, and that was fine with us. And then here we're a little bit under $30,000. So like our goal is with backers and also with money, as long as we're doubling each time, that's a good number for us. So
it may happen, and it might not happen, and then you might see publishing is a hit business. COMICSGATE is a hit business / like entertainment business, sort of. So because like the entertainment part of it is all the getting to know people on YouTube shows and stuff. So, and if if you're not on YouTube shows regularly, especially while you're promoting stuff, people don't know who the hell you are. If you're not having fun, if you're not entertaining people, they're less inclined to want to back it because people want to know who you are, and you know how it works now. So it's different. Publishing as a straight business is a hit business, which means like as publishers, we put things out and we don't expect every book to be a hit. And it's not, it isn't even supposed to like double every time. In COMICSGATE, because we have this extra support of each other and we're all kind of keeping an interested customer base, like and relationship base with fans who we can interact with directly. It's great that we have like a regular supply of COMICSGATE books that come out so that everybody can we can keep everybody's interest, kind of all together.
That's something that Shay and I were talking about the other day, was how most businesses, especially in the comic book biz, it's like you lose money after issue 1. Like COMICSGATE is unusual because it's like you keep on gaining money. It's like your numbers improve from 1 to 2. It's kind of it's like an anomaly.
It's kind of like yes, no, and maybe. There's so many different dynamics to all of this. College of the Dead book 1, when the campaign ended, it was a little bit more than $5,000, and then we did another $5,000 after another 6 months or so. College of the Dead book 2 closed at $25,000, and now it's up to $33,000. And I think somebody just backed it. Thanks, Tank, just backed it and put it over a little higher. But it's basically $33,000. So Ethan had even said, I was on his show a couple months ago, and he was like, "Oh, congratulations on the success," because actually improvement was relatively small. He's like, "Oh, your next book will do 100,000," which was, I was like, that would be amazing. It'd be great. But the thing is, you kind of don't know. Like, are you going to have something that hits with people and is successful? And you kind of don't know in publishing. But it is a thing where we have to. It is the kind of business, like, yes, if you're selling to comic stores and you sell issue number 1, and then you're offering issue number 2, because I've done this many, 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 many times, because I've sold like, more than 1,000 comics, through traditional comic distribution over the years. And number 2 does sell less than number 1. It's very normal. And in COMICSGATE, it is different. But you can, like, after you build a following, even going through comic stores, you can sell more copies of different titles. Because what happens is however popular you are, like even Ethan, who is the most popular and the most entertaining, when he publishes Cyberfrog number 1, he's not going to reach the potential market of all the people who would buy it if they were exposed to it. How could he? Because even for comic book channels, Ethan's still not the biggest comic book channel, even with all of us doing CG channels and stuff. And it's not because Ethan isn't amazing. He doesn't promote, and he's incredibly entertaining. He has a great business. He's very, very successful. It's just over time getting exposed to more and more people who'd be interested in the title. And then also word of mouth, that goes out there. So it's definitely, in your case, for what you're doing, it's very reasonable to think that, by the time you do the 3rd book, you're going to do double the numbers, I would say. I would also, we didn't really look over all the tiers, but John Malin gives excellent advice on tiers and price points and stuff.
Yeah.
But it looks like you've got just as a quick look, Ethan as well. Ethan gives a fantastic advice.
So what's different with my campaign right now is it's kind of gone through a morphing.
Mm-hmm.
What you're looking at there is the Michael Golden cover.
Michael Golden.
Yep. For the first 2 months of our campaign, we had everything different covers, different postcards, different poker chips. If you scroll down a little bit, Adam,
different poker chips.
So that's everything. So wait, stop. You went way
too far.
Yeah, wait. Go,
Adam,
go
you've
up.
gone too far.
Right there. So all that stuff right there is the stuff that was available the first half of the campaign. The sticker pack, those postcards. If you scroll up, there's buttons, and then that's the cover that you got.
I like that cover a lot, by the way.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Now what the situation is? If you scroll up a little bit more, now this is the package that everyone gets. This is with the Michael Golden cover.
Mm-hmm.
And then a new sticker pack, new postcards, new poker chip, and then you also get the Cirrhosis Cecil trading card.
That's so cute.
So what we did was
Cirrhosis Cecil.
Yeah, that was his name. He totally picked that. We kind of changed it. Like the first 60 days, we rocked the campaign in a completely different mode, and then we got the Michael Golden cover. Which I actually have a different dressing for it. I wanted to share it with you if you didn't mind.
Yeah, sure. You want to share a screen if you want?
Yeah, I'm sharing it right now.
I'll give it a clicky.
So like we recently changed the dressing for this to make it look a little bit more traditional.
All right.
I gotta move it a little bit. Hold on.
I like it.
Does that fit better in there?
Yeah, it looks good.
So yeah, this is the Michael Golden cover. I'm super pleased with it. It's like at first it was a little unusual because he's kind of working in a kind of like animated style now. But it has the classic kind of Michael Golden layout as far as composition is concerned, and the energy with the blasting.
Yeah.
But this is the cover that everyone gets now. Mm-hmm. And at the end of our 60 days, like we were letting everyone know, we were like, this is the last time you can get my cover. There's going to be a new cover after this. But, a lot of people came in and supported us. Now we're rocking the Michael Golden cover, which I'm super stoked on.
Yeah, it's very cool looking. And, sometimes like this is the whole thing with work is till you get into it, you don't know how it's going to turn out sometimes. I mean, especially with me, like, because I don't draw. And my writing is I write like anywhere from 60% to 10% to 0% even of some of the projects I get involved in. So which actually makes it really fun because we're always, I think always, but yeah, at least now I'm always working on just my concepts. So when I collaborate with people, it's kind of like I get to see like their version of my idea. And I love the collaboration of working together with creative people because I'm almost always working with people who are like they're experienced. They know what the hell they're doing. Like when you're talking about cover composition, I wouldn't be able to give you good suggestions on cover composition. I might see a cover I like and then show it to you. And then you'll be like, all right, but Adam, this would be much cooler. And then you kind of like, just make it fantastic. And then like I had a hand in it, but I get to utilize your skill set too, which is good. Guy from Red Rank says, hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
Time for me to draw the next College of the Dead comic. It's almost time. It's almost time for you to draw the next College of the Dead comic. How many Johnny books do you have planned? Or are you going to put them in a trade? Fair questions from Mr. Mask.
Yeah. So we are going to be doing 93 after this. And then again, and that's going to be a floppy as well. And then we're going to be doing 2001 after that. Now that's going to be a graphic novel that has everything from 1977 to 2001 in it. But you're also going to be able to get a floppy as well. So for those of you that want to kind of like finish your collection of Johnny Phantasm floppies, like we're going to have floppies and we're also going to have the graphic novel. So what we're doing is so after so I kind of have to rewind to here a little bit.
Sure.
After 85, we're going to be doing the toy, which you've seen.
Yeah, the toy's looking good.
So the toy is the campaign that we're going to be running through the holidays and a little bit after the holidays. After that, I'm actually going to be doing a secret project that I haven't announced yet. It's in the Johnny Phantasm world, but it's not Johnny Phantasm.
Okay. Cool.
It's actually something that I drew already for IDW. The guy that I was working with got fired, so now the book is just mine. So I was like, I'm going to put it out.
Nice.
And we were able to we're able to put Johnny Phantasm in it perfectly. So he's gonna be kind of in it, but it's modern days. So you're gonna see Johnny Phantasm for a second when he looks like now. But so that project is basically almost done, even though I haven't really mentioned anything about it. And then after that, we're doing Johnny Phantasm 1993, and that's going to be people are going to have that by June. And then we're going to be doing 2001, and that's going to be available around Christmas time. And then we're going to kind of be done with Johnny Phantasm for a little bit. Like, we're still going to have some more action figure stuff in there, because once you make the mold for an action figure, you might as well make more of them, because you already got the mold.
Mold costs money.
But so right now we have 2 more planned, and the last one is going to be a floppy and a graphic novel. So
cool. Very cool.
Big plans.
So you still, hey, you gotta hit the plans. You gotta do the hustle, and keep stuff coming out. That's the publishing game. Is you gotta keep making stuff and make stuff you're passionate about, but always make sure you're still making stuff.
I'm actually retiring. I say it's funny saying retiring like this, but I'm actually I'm going to be done teaching. I've been a teacher for almost 12 years, a college instructor.
Wow.
And I'm kind of just.
Were you teaching at the art school? I mean, I know you're in Sarasota.
I taught there for 8 years. I taught at Ringling for 8 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. I know where Ringling's at.
And then I taught it's called the State College of Florida. I taught there for about sometime overlaps with Ringling, but I've been at this college for about 5 years.
By the way, you're in Florida. How is it in Florida now with I know the governor's opened a lot of businesses and stuff.
Oh, it's amazing. It's so amazing.
Are people not wearing face masks? It's kind of back to normal over there, or?
Yeah, I mean, some people do. I mean, if you go to the beach down there where all the tourists are, no one's wearing one.
Okay.
It's so much more relaxed and chill. Like, I just came back from vacation where we went up to Maryland, drove up there and back, and it was such a mess. Yeah. We went to eat at Golden Corral, and we had to wear gloves. They made us wear gloves.
What, jeez. Yeah, I haven't been going anywhere. I'm like, it is all just too freaking weird. I'm in New York. No, so basically, Florida, the restaurants are normal too?
Oh, yeah. Like Florida is almost back to normal, except for you kind of still have to wear masks when you go to Walmart or Target and stuff like that. But
I just kind of had to know.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I mean, Florida is so great.
Yeah, I used to live in Florida for quite a while.
I miss it to New York because it's where I'm from, but I would hate to be there right now.
Nah, Florida's gorgeous, especially Florida where Patrick's at. You got Sarasota, Siesta Key Beach. I used to walk on the beach every morning. It was fucking awesome.
Well, Siesta is kind of what I was referring to. Like people, the tourists, no one is wearing any type of masks or anything.
Guys, white powdered sand beach.
Yeah. Well, so it's quartz.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. It's
I never knew why. I'm just always
it's like grinded up.
Yeah, it's like a beach, on Mars or something. It's unexpected.
When you're walking in the sand, it makes a sound like snow. It has it's very compact and it's like powder. It's like powder sugar. It's crazy.
We're all gonna visit Patrick and stay at his place.
Hell yeah.
Cape COVID.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's go over some tiers just so people kind of know what the rundown is. So the cover is the Michael Golden cover. The other cover is sold out. Is that the deal?
The only way that you can get both covers right now is if you go to the all-in, which is the subscription, is what we call it, where you get everything.
Okay. All right, we'll get to there eventually.
And you also get Johnny Phantasm 1977, the graphic novel.
Okay. So the main featured tier is Gold Heist.
Gold Heist. So Gold Heist is everything that you see below. It comes with the stickers and the postcards and the Cecil trading card,
That's so cool.
all that stuff.
Okay. Is that the only way? That is one of the only ways to get the Cecil card, that and a couple of other collections. All right, we'll go.
No. Actually, I think. Hold on. What's the next? Oh, so the $25 one is just you just get the you get
micro
the
golden cover.
Yeah. But everyone, I need to put this out there. Everyone gets all the Garbage Pail trading cards. So if you scroll up for a second, I'm sorry to.
Sure, not at all.
At them. If you click on if you click on the fourth image there.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So everyone gets these 4 trading cards.
Everyone gets Cirrhosis Cecil.
And then on the back of them makes
the back of them makes Cirrhosis Cecil.
But with the Michael Golden heist, you actually get the card.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's an extra card. Very cool.
And then everyone so far get at least 3 poker chips as well. Everyone, if you back it at the 25 tier, if you back it at the $50 tier, so far everyone gets at least 3 poker chips. And then everyone also gets a Johnny Phantasm poster.
Very cool.
So those are some of the fun things that we've unlocked with our stretch goals.
Very cool.
But the gold heist is pretty popular. The next one that is $25 is good for someone that's already backed it and they just want that Michael Golden cover. They can't live without it.
Yeah.
And then the next tier, which is I forget what it is. I think it's
all the gold.
It's all the gold. So yeah, it's like just it's everything.
Sticker pack, 5 stickers, large Phantasm sticker, retro trading card, Johnny Phantasm 1977 graphic novel, 72 pages, Michael Golden Phantasm cover, collector's postcard set of 4, and the golden poker chip.
Yeah. So that one is good if you missed out in 1977 and you want to get the last campaign that we did
for sure.
And we had cards that go with that one too. So you get all that stuff too.
Nice.
And then you get to 1985. Now with that one right there, you get the 1977, you get my cover, and you also get Michael Golden's cover.
All in if you can afford it, baby.
That's right.
If you can't, we understand.
Yeah. If you can't,
by the way, it always helps to reshare the campaign. And you guys have probably already done that, and thank you for doing that. But just like retweeting the campaign, popping it on Facebook or whatever, saying, hey, check this out. Help make this happen, the little Indiegogo thing. It does help. And when we see it, like when we're on Twitter and we see you guys share our campaign, we're like, oh, thanks. Like it just takes away a little anxiety. So thank you. Does it feel like that a little bit like, all right, yeah, it's gonna work out.
Yeah. I mean, if people are watching this and you can't back it, but you like it, just share it out. It's like every little bit helps.
Yeah, that helps. That kind of support really helps. And you see Patrick around. Patrick's in the game. He's part of CG. Yeah, he's part of CG. He ain't going anywhere. He's here to help us get this thing done. And you ship your books too. You delivered your other book, and you're up.
Yeah. Who would have known that's such a big qualification now? You actually ship the books.
Well, I mean, I say stuff like that. I get a little bit in trouble a little bit, I think, when I do. But because the thing is hey, Murph, what up, Professor Murph? Yeah, I mean, to me, like that's where I've been in publishing and I was in publishing a long time. Like when you're in publishing in comics and you're selling just to comic stores through like Diamond, it's tremendous pressure because you're waiting on the orders to come in. The orders are not generally high enough. You got budgets you have to make. They have a cutoff time that's like, if you do not ship by this day, you offered it for March for 2020. Well, if you don't ship it by April, F you, we don't want your stupid comics. So like even if it's just break even and you spent like $7,000 and you're just trying to get your money back, get the book out, hopefully you'll sell more next time, or you'll sell like backlist or something. Like, no, like you blow a deadline, they don't want to hear about it. Yeah. You have a couple of weeks to make good on it. They don't care. There's a fire, a flood, pandemic. They probably cut people some slack. They weren't even paying their bills during the pandemic. I'm sure they caught up by now, Diamond. But long story short, so there's that pressure. And then what do when the numbers are too low, sometimes it's like, okay, well, can we afford to take a loss and publish this? Can we work the budget another way? Maybe we can come back months later and do a limited edition. There's just tremendous crushing pressure on that. So it forces you as a publisher to sometimes make bad decisions. There's some books I published back in the day that weren't, I would, if I had more time, they would have been better. If we had more money, for the budget. Then there's times also when like your freelancers don't understand, like, hey, listen, if you don't give me these freaking pencils enough time that I can get this thing inked and printed and shipped and like that budget, like if we don't get this stuff together in time, it's serious. Like we're not going to be able to publish this book, So yeah, it's like there's like a PSD from that practically, not legitimately, but enough that like as a publisher, I look at it now and I'm like, look, man, if I can get my book done by the time I'm going to offer it, so I know that even with a couple of wacky disasters and whatever, we can still ship on time and deliver what we promised or even a little bit more, like then I'm good. And if we can get enough money, like we have enough support or enough backers that we can ship our books and have some profit, that's fantastic. So I look at Frege, he's, doing his numbers, and Malin's doing his numbers, and Ethan's doing phenomenal numbers. And the fact that I get to do my books, and probably when I get College of the Dead 3 out, College of the Dead Spring Break, which is written, but I still have to find the right artist for it, because our regular artist isn't available anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, it was a COMICSGATE thing. Like some stupid artist agent was like, "Oh, he's associated with COMICSGATE," and he's like,
really?
"Adam, are you with COMICSGATE?" I didn't realize that. I'm like, get out of here with this. It's like, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's like, they accuse it. I'm like, listen, I'm Jewish. I'm not a Nazi. And he's like, all right, yeah, but like my career, what? And the thing of it too is there are enough mean-spirited people in positions of power that, yeah, you know what? They could blacklist people and whatever and not hire them just because of an association. So it's like, whatever. If you're not comfortable, you're not comfortable. We'll find somebody else to it. But in any event, that's one of the things that happen. But my point is just like, I would love to be doing 6-figure books. Like, let's do one every month. Why not? But the important thing is, people have to want the books. You have to deliver the books. They've got to be of the right quality. People have to be happy with what they got. And then it'll all come in time.
Yeah. Like one thing I'm very skeptical about, Adam, and I say this a lot, is people that are crowdfunding books that have never even made a comic book before.
Yeah.
It's a red flag for me. People that have not actually constructed it, laid the page out, did the lettering, talked to the printers, talked to the artists, and there's a lot of that happening. It's like I see a lot of people promising like 200-page books, and they've never even made like a comic book before, and some of these people have a lot of money, and it's like
they're raising a lot of money.
Yeah, and it's. I think those people, like, we have to be very cautious of who we kind of like promote and put on our shoulders and parade around, because I think some people should start off doing like a 24-page book, a 22-page book, just see how it goes, like don't promise like a 60, 100, 200-page book, because like what happens if it's like once you start doing it, you're like, holy shit, like this is hard, I'm very skeptical now because I got burned. I backed a couple people that didn't really make comic books before, and those books are nowhere to be seen from or heard from. So now,
and there are people that know how to make books too, and some people come in, they'll take it for granted, and I'm not talking CG, I'm talking like outside CG. I am thinking of someone who I know who has made books before, and I backed his book, and he did pretty well. And this was a Kickstarter book, and he wasn't able to ship his book because he overpromised. And I was talking to my buddy about it back in the day, and he and I both know him and whatnot. And he's like, he did pretty good. I'm like, yeah, he did good, relatively speaking, but it was in the 20,000s. But look at all he promised. He promised a lot of different items and whatever. And I was like, I don't know if he's going to make any money, because what's the point of selling a lot of stuff if you're not able to deliver it? And enthusiasm only gets you so far. Like, it gets you pretty far, but like you got to deliver the books. because the thing is if you don't deliver the books, you can't offer any other books. So it's sort of like you're going to kill your whole business for 20 grand or 30 grand or 50 grand. Even it's like, it's not worth it, like to blow your relationship with people.
Yeah.
But I don't think most people, of course, go into it with that in mind. But that's one of the great things about COMICSGATE. Like, now I did it. I don't know if you've seen them, but I did a YouTube series of about 40 or so videos, Secrets of the COMICSGATE Network. And I talk a bit about publishing and how we work in CG. And that is pretty important, that people kind of do understand, like, at least some of the basics of what you're going to be up against when you say, hey, I'm going to make a comic. And there are people, I see this a lot, that make the mistake of saying, like, well, I'm going to make it, instead of 48 pages, I'm going to make it 80 pages because then I'll sell a lot more of them.
Yeah.
And the answer is like, well, it may seem like a better value to you, but people aren't necessarily going to buy more copies of something because it's more pages.
Exactly. It's like you're better off playing it safe, doing a nice simple book. Because I mean, like, really, you know, with a lot of this kind of crowdfunding, you're selling your brand. So it's like, you know, when people are buying Johnny Phantasm, yeah, they're buying a character, but they're also buying me. You know?
Yeah, they are buying you.
And so it's like a lot of it. It's like, I don't think I would have sold any more Johnny Phantasm 1985 if it was 48 pages of what it is, or if it was 200 pages. You know, it's like,
people don't even know what they're buying. They're just buying what you're offering.
Yeah.
And the minimum, the price point of, like, if you're at 25 plus 10 shipping, people are used to that. And then if you want to have a more extensive versions, people are used to that too. You know, just keep it somewhat within the realm of non-ridiculous, and you're good to go.
Ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're working on the I'll show you mermaids real quick. We're working on the graphics for the mermaids, and it's not ready, and this isn't actually correct, but, like, so we have the $25 entry point, and then there's a different cover. There's a total of 4 covers on the mermaids. We had this new one with this russet background.
Nice. I like those. Those look like tarot cards. Yeah,
they're really They're really interesting. It's
Muka-esque of Muka.
Yeah,
like
Muka-esque
between Mike Turner and Muka.
Yeah, the guy who did those for me, he really this is like key to the collaboration process, is why I love collaboration so much. It occurred to me, like, wouldn't it be cool to do Game of Thrones style thing with mermaids and just do a mermaids world? Like, oh, well, that would be kind of cool. Yeah. So I had an eye out for an artist, and even before I started any of the writing or character development, I saw an artist on Facebook who was doing these really cool, like, female fairies, and they just kind of looked like of another world. He's from Indonesia. He actually did the his name is Jerry Gertrudia, or some version of that, because it's slightly different country name kind of thing. But a very great guy, really nice guy, and he was doing these fairies. He did the Kubert School correspondence course.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, so he just good people and really, like, respected comics and all that. So I had intended to have him do the sequential art, but first do some character designs. So I gave him, like, not that much to work with. It was sort of like, well, let's do a mermaid with Psy. Basically, he didn't get much more direction from me than that. And he came back with this as a character design in pencil, and then later I hired a colorist to work on it. But these weren't supposed to have this kind of detail. It wasn't supposed to be this. It was just.
Oh, well, I hope the rest of it looks that good, because that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks. So he did like 30 pieces like that. I just had him continue going. So I was like, well, what if we did a mermaid with like an octopus bottom?
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we did that. We did like a lot of things like that. Half shark. I did a pregnant mermaid, and that became a question of like, well, if they're all women, then how do they? So that's like a whole other part of the world. And then we started developing individual characters. I was working with a writer and another editor, and we developed over 30 mermaid characters. It became this ridiculous, extensive, enormous project that I worked on for a few years. But this was me getting back into comics. I hadn't done comics for whatever, maybe 5 or 10 years since before that. It was like the late 90s. I had done comics before that. And I was like, well, let me like just do something new from the ground up. But it didn't occur to me even to like, well, this might be too big of a project. Maybe don't do that. So it's kind of funny because it like, no matter how much experience, and I had made a lot of comics before this, but it just kind of didn't occur to me. But yeah, well, so just.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I mean, again, like that artwork looks pretty damn good. So I think it's going to be pretty successful.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, look, I'm like with you. I'm like, look, I'll just make the book, and I'm going to make sure it's all done though, and basically ready for press. And because of the panel design, I'm going to do a wider. This is a really cool opportunity because some people were like, "Yeah, Art Nouveau, exactly, man." Some people were like, with the panels, like, "Oh, well, you had extra white space on the top and the bottom because of College of the Dead." And I was like, "Well, yeah, because of the way the panels were laid out, the way it's designed." So I was talking with my designer, JJ Jackson, who she used to work with Jim Shooter at Valiant. She worked at Marvel. She then went on to his company, Defiant. And she and I have been friends for about 10 years or so. And we got talking, and I think it was her that came up with the idea of like, why don't you do like a golden age width, not a magazine, but like do an extra half an inch width. And then we can do whatever, like gives us like a 30% ratio. You get a much larger ratio for the panels. And I'm like, I would love to do a golden age width.
Yeah. I mean, I like doing stuff like that. Like you were talking about like Ninja Turtles earlier about, how many comics. Like I like that their comic was a little bit bigger than the other ones.
Yeah, Ninja Turtle was wide. Yeah, exactly. I bought Ninja Turtles 3 off the stands, the one with the green and white cover. I want to think like, did I buy the blue and white one? The blue and white one might have been 2. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Like this is going back like, more than 35 years, some shit, some fucking long amount of time. But yeah, Ninja Turtle. I was psyched about. Everybody was psyched about Ninja Turtles back in the day. Yeah, and it wasn't. The entry point of it was that it was like a Frank Miller, Daredevil parody, but there was something just special about the combination of the words Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it hit a lot of good chords.
And they never thought that was going to be a success. But that's publishing is thank you, Violet. Publishing, definitely get on the email list if you can, guys, for the mermaids. epicmermaids.com, or that link will get you to it. And I am going to be launching very soon, just as soon as those graphics are done, and I got to write the description for it, and then hit a few streams and be like, hey, we're getting it going, pick a date, boom, and get it out. And I'm just excited to I love to finish it and ship it. And then there's plenty of other projects like to work on and new things to do. I have some other stuff I'm working on that I'm really excited about too, but I get too crazy because it's like I want to work on like so many things. Like you have to just pace it. You just gotta
well, I mean, like what I've been doing, especially because I went on a week vacation and not too long ago, and in my quiet time, I was just kind of like planning out my next year in my head. Especially since I'm not going to be doing teaching, I have to kind of figure out that income situation, like how am I going to make that extra money that I would make doing that. And I've got campaigns lined up. I think that's one awesome model that Ethan has showed us is just keep it busy, keep it going. You
have to. He's right. You have to keep it going, and you'll notice if you look at your own sales history that most of your revenue comes in the first 30 days, the highest percentage of it. Yeah. So, like for College of the Dead, month 1, the first 30 days was 2/3 of the revenue for the campaign for 60 days. And then about half of that was month 2 because it's new and exciting and, you launch it, you push it, you got your email list. So yeah, it is important to have a regular schedule of stuff. But like you're promoting constantly, you're out on channels all the time, Shane's channel, stuff like that. You and Shane are good when you guys are on together.
Well, I mean, he's a funny guy, so he makes it easy.
That's cool. Yeah, I have to get on with you guys.
Just let us know, and we'll send you a link.
What is it? Most every night?
Yeah, I mean, Shane, it's weird. It's like he complained that he doesn't like streaming, that it takes up too much time, but I think he's addicted to it.
He does it a lot. He does do it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, he does it an unusual amount of time.
He's kind of hitting a crucial part, I think, within COMICSGATE too, where he's kind of creating his own Shane lore now.
Oh yeah.
He's Ceciling almost. You know,
yeah, he's
or at least Kelseying.
He's doing something. You know, he's coming out of his cocoon.
Yeah, I'm glad he feels comfortable, and you know, you dedicating the work to COMICSGATE is so fantastic, and Shane and Frega and you know Ethan and Malin we take for granted pretty much, but because you know they've been here so long, but it's just great to see more like real serious talent and people who want to have fun on the streams.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I watch Malin when I want to kind of see like what's the upcoming trend for, you know, what's, you know, like what to do in your campaign, like what's a good tier to have, or how long do you run a campaign, or what do you do when, like, I mean, that's why he's the coach, you know, like because he knows about that stuff.
His advice is excellent. His advice about pricing and timing and also selecting ideas to publish. You know, like Ethan was saying, I was on a stream with Ethan, and I think I was mentioning the mermaids. I don't know if it was the mermaids I was talking about or something. And he was like, "You have the worst ideas," and he would forget that he even probably said it. But mermaids is done. For one thing, it's done. For another thing, it's a very significant project. It's not like a new Batman. You know, it's not a single character. It's a whole freaking world. Yeah. So, you know, it's a different. It's not like Malin says. If you're going to do a project for COMICSGATE, he says a very good way about doing it. Or maybe it was Malin was saying this. Malin was saying, you know, keep in mind that these are mostly disaffected people from Marvel and DC that don't get the kind of comics anymore that they loved from the 90s from Marvel and DC. Yeah. And he's totally right. It's like, you know, so then, you know, Shane does cats, Adam does mermaids. You know, it's like, well, I mean, that's fine. You know, we got to do what we're doing, but like you'll see, like with College of the Dead, the guys did Peregrine. They did this female superhero at around the same time that I did College of the Dead, and they hadn't shipped any books before. But it was a female superhero, and she did look pretty hot. Yeah. So it outsold College of the Dead, which is like good for you guys, you know. And they didn't even have access to the same platforms that I had, but each of these things kind of are what they are, and you have to take each project like as its own thing. But I really I look at what we did with the mermaids, and I'm like, it's an amazing accomplishment for what it is, because it's just so freaking enormous. There's so much writing to it. I had the writer I was working with do trading cards for individual mermaid characters, and he wound up, well, here you go. Mermaids should kill a megalodon. We have like he did 36 trading cards for us, so we have like 36 paragraphs of prose about each character. I'm looking at this like this is like a Marvel Universe type of thing. There's just so much there. But would I do it again from nowhere? Like I probably wouldn't. There's other reasons why I became obsessed with mermaids before that, but that's another whole long story. Everybody should back Johnny Phantasm. A lot of you guys already have, and I know Tank Ferret, I believe you said you just did, or someone else said they just did, which is fantastic. And
just a side note, I mean, and you know this because I was telling everyone in the chat, it's only going to be up for about another week and a half. We're actually closing this on Halloween.
So you won't stay in demand? Oh, you're in demand.
We're in demand, but we don't want to have our campaigns overlapping, and we want to launch the toy campaign soon. So we're gonna take down the 1985 and kind of just wrap it up. I'm still working on it, you know, like as we speak. And then we're going to be launching the toy campaign. We're going to be launching that on Black Friday.
That's exciting.
Yeah. It's. I mean, like the toy thing has been just crazy. You know, everything has worked out just right with that. We're hooked up with a good company. Again, like people are always asking me who. I'm not going to say who because I don't want them to soil my name with them because they're not really political people. But you know, if people bother them, like I can see them being worried about stuff.
They don't need to get hassled. Yeah.
So, but we're in good hands. It's being produced in China right now.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I remember you were originally going to try and get it all in the U.S. It's like, screw it. If China can do it, let them do it.
Well, I'd like to do that, and we're going to be doing the packaging here. It's impossible to do it here, Adam. It's like
we're not set up for it here.
We would have to sell the figures for like $200 a piece if we did it here. It's just
that seems fair.
So.
Do you have mock-ups that you're showing of the figures or not yet?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Show it on. I'm going to put on the Michael Golden screen. Show the figures and describe them, and I will come back in just 1 second.
Oh no, actually, hold on, no. But can you share something? Can you share a different screen?
Yes, I can.
Stop share application. There we go. All right.
If I add this to the stream, will it automatically? Yes, it will. Oh, very cool.
So these are the test shots from China. These are actually pictures.
That is pretty effing cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it so far.
All right, I'll be right back. You explain this. I'll be right back.
Yeah. That's fine. So these are test shots that we got from China, and this is them 3D printing everything and making a master sculpt. Now, what they're going to do is they are going to make a master cast out of this in aluminum, and then they inject plastic in it and so forth. But like there's different molds. Like the necklace and the gun are going to be a part of a gold mold. His body and his arms and his legs are part of like a purple mold. His hands and his head are part of like a white mold. So we have 3 or 4 different type of casts that are being made. But yeah, they sent these pictures over to me a couple weeks back. It's been about 2 weeks back. And just kind of making sure that I'm satisfied with the details of everything. And I mean, to me, everything looks really great. This figure is about 4 inches tall, maybe a little bit shorter than that. It's kind of like that classic Kenner style, very similar to like the Batman '89 Kenner style. More details, more articulate, and stuff like that. But that's the style that we're going for. And when we do the packaging, which is a whole nother adventure here, like we're gonna be doing a bunch of different type of packaging for this guy. Very happy how his necklace turned out. Like the buttons are super detailed, which I appreciate. The face is looking good, and here he is with his hat as well.
This is amazing looking.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I remember seeing the first version of this when this is kind of like a white soap sculpture.
But
the early
and
does it have a bendy tail? Whoa!
And then these are kind of little mock-ups that I have at my house.
These guys are looking really cool.
Yeah, now you'll see the guy on the right. He's not quite finished yet. His symbol wasn't on his necklace yet. But the purple one is for Johnny Phantasm 1977, and then the black one is for Johnny Phantasm 1985. And then what you don't see here is we're actually going to have a glow in the dark version as well.
Wow! All right. Because you've been working on this for months, and this is the fruition of it. Luis is asking, can you get the books with the toys on a single tier?
So that is the things that we're trying to figure out right now. I had a conversation with my writer about that right now, and we're not sure yet. So I can't.
What do you mean, like doing a new book?
No, just like so what's going to be happening here, and this will all come into perspective once the toy comes out, and I can say who made it. But we're going to be having a lot of toy people coming over here to CG, like people that are just looking for toys.
Oh, wow!
So because the whole indie toy community is something just all in itself, right? Well, they might not have the comic book yet, so I might have to offer a tier where you can get the comic book with the toy.
I think that would be really great. You know what they do sometimes with projects like this? It's a tiny version of the comic or a smaller version.
Yeah.
You can package with a toy.
Yeah. We thought about that too. So those are all things that we're thinking about, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I want to wrap up the 1985 campaign because I
Understood.
like,
Get it done and then move on to the next.
yeah, because when you're in campaign mode, it's hard to kind of juggle more than a couple at once. So I want to get done with the campaign mode so I can stop being salesman, and I can finish the book because the book is not done yet. Almost 1985 is almost done.
Okay.
But then I can kind of focus on what we're doing with the toy, and figure out if we're going to put a comic with it. Is there going to be a tier? And what we'll do is, if there is going to be a comic tier, like the tier will have the comic will have a new cover. So it'll be like something that even if people got it before, they might want to get it again because it might be an exciting cover.
Okay. I mean, that's reasonable.
Mm.
Look how cool this is.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I mean,
wow.
This guy in particular isn't that articulate because he's made out of resin. The resin is kind of like almost like glass. So I mean, you can tell that the pink guy looks more like rubber. This guy is kind of like almost like stone. He's really hard. That's why I the guns are stuck in there. I was scared to try to put the guns in his hand because I thought his hand might break.
What do you think you're going to sell this for?
I think these might go for anywhere from $25 to $45. Which is pretty normal for collector toys because again, like we're only going to be making 200 of each color, so 200 of the purple, 200 of the black, and 200 of the glow in the dark.
What has Ethan said about this? He's seen these pictures.
Yeah, he likes them.
Okay.
Yeah, he thinks they're cool.
Cool. His pictures are looking amazing.
Yeah. His figure looks amazing, and it stresses me out because I know how much it costs to make toy stuff now. I can only imagine what his toy is going to cost or what his toys are going to cost because it's like there's so many moving parts on it. It's frightening. It's frightening to me to think about the building.
But he's got some very serious help. You're very experienced. If you have very experienced people that you're working with on stuff, you're pretty much good. As long as you've got the money for everything.
Yeah. I mean, if you got money to throw at a problem, then it goes away very easily. But for me and Evan, we're kind of small fries. And,
no.
We still wanted to do a figure. Now, one of the things that we lucked out is very similar to what happened with making the comics with Peter because we print our Johnny Phantasm book with Peter Samedi.
Yeah.
Now, like if we send our book along with Peter with someone else that's doing 48 pages, we get kind of like a discount on it because the machine is set up to do 48 pages.
Oh, that's cool.
Now what's happening with this toy company that we're working with is we're actually piggybacking with them. So in a situation where we would normally have to buy like 6,000 of these, we only have to get 600.
Wow.
So we've actually kind of lucked out. We're kind of in a weird position. I'm not really sure how we got here, but everything worked out just right.
Sometimes that happens. Timing.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. So far everything's going pretty well. That's why I don't really talk about the company too much because like everything's worked out so well. I don't want anyone.
Yeah, you don't want to rock any boats. Yeah, this is fantastic. This is the best version of this you've shown. I mean,
that's the most recent picture of it. That's this is from like a week ago, and then once I'm done with 1985, I can start working on the pre-launch for this and getting ready all the tiers ready for the launch. So yeah, like I'm excited to jump into it and sink my teeth into it.
Well, good for you, man. There's a lot there, and this is what you wanted to do. And the indie toy people are going to be great for you to start working with. Expect to sell them comics, figure out how to do that, even if it's like just a second printing or something. It could be something simple because they're gonna want it. Like, all right, the toy is whatever it is, 25 or 35, and then to get it with a comic is an extra 15 or something. Less than it costs to make. And
so some of the dilemmas that we're thinking about is, do you get 1977 with the purple toy and you get 1985 with the black toy, or do you get both? Like a one comic together that has both of them, like a giant size comic book. So
Peter loves doing giant size.
Yeah, like do you know what's the biggest size he can do by any chance? Is it 100 pages, 120?
I do not know, but I would guess I know he does, but I would guess he does 100-page giants. I think I've heard him say
for sure. But like if we were
probably 100 or maybe $120.
Yeah, if he does $120, like we could probably do it with him. But so again, like those are things that like it's hard to kind of concentrate on that type of stuff. And
I know.
So once I'm done with the campaign, being in salesman mode, I'll be able to concentrate on some of that stuff. And then
and then when you know what, my 2 cents on that, as just as a suggestion, is having dealt with like different production issues and people and stuff, is sometimes it's better to just get it off your plate. You have a question like that, just message Peter and just ask him real quick. Be like, hey, maximum page count 100 or 120, and then message him, because this way you don't even have to think about it, and it moves the process along.
I bug him. I bug Peter all the time. So
good.
Yeah,
and I'm sure he likes it.
About little stupid things.
He's really good people. I'm glad he's around all the time too.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
sweetheart.
Peter's I mean, I'm dreading the day that like he gets hired by like Marvel. Is like
he won't be hired by Marvel, no, because he's doing his own thing and it's going better than ever.
I know, but one day someone's gonna see him and they're gonna be like, "Well, this guy actually knows what he's doing. We should hire him."
He does really know what he's doing, but it's like a very specific talent, So it's very specific, and I don't think he'd be comfortable working for any big company.
Yeah.
He has a lot of autonomy, and he likes to help individual creators.
Yeah, it's true.
And there would be a big loss if he was gone. A lot of people wouldn't be able to do what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget the collector trading card for each toy. Well, it's another. There's always something extra when it comes to toys, right?
Yeah. Well, so what we're going to be doing is, because that's kind of like our Johnny Phantasm thing, is everyone's going to get a poker chip with the toy, but we actually have a blister pack that's going to hold the poker chip to the card back. So it's going to be like it's going to look like some action figures come with like collector coins. We're going to have like collector poker chips like glued to the boards that are in little blister packs.
Well, I think it's exciting. I wanted to get into doing toys, but I just haven't gotten that far yet. So definitely hit you up for ideas when the time is right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was talking to Graham Nolan about this because he wanted. He wanted to make toys too, and I said, as soon as I get done making this toy with these people, and they know that I'm legit and everything works out pretty well,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to pass their name on to everyone, and then everyone will try to work with them.
That's great. Very cool. Yeah, I got to do a big 2021. Kick ass in 2021. That's what we got to do, man. We're going to be past this pandemic, past the election. Things are going to be kicking it really good. Interesting article I read in Zero Hedge the other day. Apparently, like Amazon and Google are buying up a lot of cheap office space leases in New York City.
Yeah.
So they know that all this pandemic stuff is going to end, before too long. So they're always out there getting richer and doing hustling, and good for them. Get rich, but a couple more months we're going to be out of this nonsense.
Yeah, but I mean, like the sad thing about it is like how many small mom and pop places are going to be closed by then.
Oh, they definitely moved the needle a good 10 years of wiping out competition.
Yeah, I mean, I when the whole shutdown thing was happening, and more specifically when Diamond went under, I turned to the wife and I was like, we have to update our website right now. It's like we have to get the infrastructure set up right now. It's like we already had some stuff set up, but I was like, we have to get everything set up right now because this is the only way that we're going to be able to make money.
Yeah, and it's much better. There's much more stability in doing your own thing than relying on another company. Especially now, DC has that new general manager. They're pushing all the diversity stuff like wildly.
The Nike Red Bull guy.
I've been keeping up with a lot of the entertainment business articles and stuff like that, and the push, the diversity push is more and more and more aggressive. It's nonstop. But yeah, I mean they call it inclusive, but it means anything but white. And there's also this bizarre push against merit. In San Diego, there's a school system that recently decided they're going to give certain races higher test scores because of racism throughout the school system. And it's like, well, but doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of grading if you're not going to have a objective standard? So objective standards of quality or success are not considered to be legitimate. It's like, well, not everywhere, just in that one place, but still, it's getting really, really crazy. So, yeah, we have to have our own customers, sell direct, deliver to people, make great stuff, make it better next time, make toys that look cool like this, make cool comics like Johnny Phantasm, and of course the mermaids.
That's right.
And just keep doing more cool stuff. That's
keep
where it's at.
Keep it on.
People always marvel at, no pun intended, at Todd McFarlane, like, how the hell did he do it? It's like, well, you hear him talk. He's just like, well, make something that's always very cool, keep it very cool, and be available to people who are interested in what you're doing. Be available to fans, communicate with them.
Yeah.
And he's just done it consistently. So it's the only book that really sells consistently now more than 100,000 copies through comic stores. Plus he has his, no one would have ever thought back in the day when he's starting his own independent comic book company that he'd be getting a license to make DC Comics toys.
Yeah, well,
that's like ridiculous
right now, and people always bust my chops about this, but there's going to be a McFarland Batman comic book coming soon.
Oh, could be
because he just designed a McFarland action figure. It's like his version of Batman.
Yeah,
I could totally see him wanting to do a comic to promote that action figure.
A lot of money in action figures for sure.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. We'll keep building our thing. We'll keep keeping customers happy, bringing new guys in, bringing talent in, and appreciating all the amazing guys who back our campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
All right, brother. Anything else we should know about Johnny Phantasm before we wrap it for the night?
No. Just again, like if you can't back it, just share it out. It's I know how things go, and some things are hard.
Share it.
Yeah. Just share it out.
That's what I always do.
And I appreciate your time that you've given me, Adam. And
man, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. We do it more.
And you need to come on the Sunday show more often.
Yeah, I have to get on a Sunday and hang with you on your channel. Your channel is
Riot Press Productions on YouTube. So if you guys subscribe, jump over there and subscribe. Every Sunday I do a show with Dr. Andrea. He's
good man.
Yeah, he's an editor. Used to be at Caliber, and now he's at Scout. Yeah, he's a good dude. And then also with Blake, who runs the Splintering website.
Ah, very cool. And Andre is a great guy.
Andre. Oh yeah, he's super good.
Very knowledgeable guy. And the company he's working with, Scout, is doing a lot of interesting things. They're doing a young adult. I saw they're doing a young adult graphic novel imprint now, and they got distribution with a major book publisher, and they're making a toy division as well.
Yep. Actually, so that person that made the toy, well, it was actually a toy before it was a comic. It's called Star Killer. I actually approached him about doing Johnny Phantasm first, but he got back to me second. It's kind of a small world, but anyway,
it is a small world. Mm-hmm. But yeah, check out Sundays you usually do at 1 p.m. EST.
Yeah, 1 p.m. Eastern time.
Cool.
Like Riot Press Productions YouTube.
All right, I'm gonna try and get on there on Sunday.
Yeah, come. Anytime you're welcome to be on there.
I appreciate it, brother. All right, Guy from Red Bank, go to sleep, get some rest. Great being with you. Violet, thanks for being here. Keely, great seeing you. Mr. Mask, Luis, all you guys, really appreciate you guys spending time with us. And definitely check out Johnny Phantasm. A lot more great stuff coming. And the toy is badass. The toy is next level stuff. So this is going to be one of the first CG toys coming out. And we can all be really excited about it too. All right, guys, you have a great night. We will see you again soon. And if we don't see you, I will miss you.